Good morning. Whew. I think we're supposed to get rain today, but I think all we're gonna get is wind. A whole lot of it. It is Sunday, June 2nd, and I wanted to show you the garden. Now the water is finally on, and I've got a sprinkler set up and trying to figure out a timer, which I've never used before. So let me show you around. So I'm just using one wobble sprinkler for most of the garden, and it gets most of it. I do have to hand water a little bit with the hose, but it's not as bad as hauling in water. This bed doesn't have too much going on in it. I just weeded it, so that's why it looks so nice. We have one sunflower. We've got noodle beans starting to pop up here. And some parsley, and hopefully these noodle beans will cover this arch trellis through the summer. One more sunflower there, and some chamomile that I transplanted from the walkways. It just kind of volunteers here. Some pansies. Got a dahlia in a pot looking real sad. Now, the middle garden, I lost hope. I really did. I planted a bunch of daikon radishes and they got knocked back by the freeze, I think twice. They came up, they died. They came up, they died. And now we finally have a lot of sunflowers and a lot of daikon radishes. You can see these radishes are going to seed, which is exactly what I wanted them to do. We have some corn coming up, but you can't really see it. On this side of the arch trellis, we have some peas that I doubt will produce anything before it gets too hot. We have a couple more noodle beans coming up and some asparagus. It's the first year for the asparagus, so I'm just leaving it alone. More sunflowers over here, and this bed here is lined with onions all the way around. I just put the sets in, so they're not coming up yet. Planted some radishes. They're doing all right. I intentionally left this plantain here because I enjoy using it for salves and things like that. It's also great for tea. So we have kale, and this is just a regular cabbage. Parsley. The light really isn't very good, is it? These here are all kohlrabi. Again, we're lined with onions all the way around. And I do thin out the volunteer sunflowers, but I try to leave as many as possible. So this is my first year really growing any type of cabbage or brassica. I did try kale last year and got quite a bit off of that. But this year I planted cabbages early in March, and it has been a struggle, but I'm pretty happy with how they're turning out, and I think that I'll try again in the fall. Look at these Napa cabbages. Oh my goodness. We have, I think, two at least that are gonna come to a head. We have this one here and this monster. He's huge. The other ones I think will probably go to seed, but that's fine because then I'll have more seeds for the fall. This bed here is all amended and ready to be planted. I think we're going to, oh, hello, Alex. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. You want to do a garden tour with me? No? Okay. This bed is ready to be planted. I think we're gonna do okra. I've never grown okra before, but I wanna try. This bed is laid out but not built, and you can tell that it is being overrun by crabgrass and morning glory. But that's on the list for this week to get done. And this will be melons in this bed, I believe. We've got some beautiful mustard that's already blooming. I grew this specifically for seeds, so I'm not mad that it's going to seed. I have some yarrow that volunteered that I left alone. And this whole bed is planted with potatoes. And I used some that went to seed in the pantry, and I also grabbed some from the grocery store, so they're growing at different speeds here. But look, potatoes through all the weeds. Still need to finish up this half of the bed, get all these weeds out. And then we have another bed that is laid out but covered in weeds. This one will also be melons, I believe, or winter squash. Oh, my tea. This bed was tomatoes, and a random freeze took them all out. And so I kind of have to readjust what I'm going to grow here. I think maybe I'll move the cucumbers here and grow some green beans as well. This is going to be pole beans here along the edge, and then some bush beans down through there. This is the new tomato row. A train, awesome. So I started 17 varieties of tomatoes and 15 varieties of peppers in March. And I grew them and I hardened them off, which was difficult because I live on the second floor and don't have anywhere to put them out because my balcony is full of plants already. And so I was bringing them down every morning, putting them on top of my car in the parking lot, and then bringing them back up every night. I finally got them planted and we got a random frost. And it took everything out. All my eggplants, all my peppers, all my tomatoes. And on top of that, I had gotten in a car accident and kind of busted myself up a bit. And so I kind of quit the garden for about 2 weeks there. Luckily, even though I missed all of the plant sales that are local here, the hardware store had plants still, so I grabbed a couple. They're not as fun of varieties as everything that I had planted, but they'll still provide some food. And I had planned 3 rows of tomatoes and an entire bed of peppers, and now I'm down to 1 row of tomatoes and maybe a quarter of a bed of peppers and 2 single eggplant plants. I think I'm gonna shift the plan a little, and instead of growing so many tomatoes and peppers, I'll just grow more long storing things like dry beans and winter squash. And that's fine. Things can change. So we've got a couple cherry tomatoes down here. Everything survived through the cold nights. I've got these hoops here in case I need to put over a frost fabric. I still haven't planted the peppers yet because they're going in that weed-filled bed over there. But I'm starting some seeds for basil, which will go in between these onions and marigolds. Yeah. This bed here, we've got some leeks and some spinach, lots of morning glory and lamb's quarter weeds that I need to come and pull. These here are turnips or possibly rutabagas, I'm not sure. I'll have to check. And we got another guy there. This is the pansy that I planted this pansy last year and it overwintered and it is just a monster. Let me show you something. There's a garden gnome in here. We'll have to find him a new place. He lived next to the pansies all year last year, but I think they're a little too vigorous this year for the garden gnome to live by. In here is where I have tried to grow carrots 3 times and have failed every time. I'm not really sure. Oh yeah, I'm not sure what to do about that. I need to come in and weed and plant something else. Oh, they're so gorgeous. This here is garlic, soft neck garlic that I planted really poorly last year. It's probably not gonna yield too much, but it'll be something, and I'm learning. In here we have lettuce, all different kinds. Again, need to weed a bit. And this is our last bed. I've got the frame mostly built, and I am starting to weed this out. This is where the peppers are going to go. The weeds just really take over if you're not super careful. And then I have this old swing set that was here when I came to the garden. And I'm planning on growing loofah gourds and birdhouse gourds over this. So they'll take over, and I'm hoping that underneath will be kind of a little fort.